Welcome back to The More You Know. We are on episode 4, and today we are going to be talking about trailer maintenance with Nichole. But before we can get to that, we got to do the intro. Nichole, you're one of our trailer experts here, so kind of introduce yourself and tell us what you do for the Trailer Parts Outlet.
My name's Nichole Hutchins, and I am the trailer expert in the sales reps department. I help sell the trailer parts and any bearings, so forth. If you have a tech question, I can help you with that. And any other trailer parts needs or questions.
Cool, because we're going to dive into some maintenance today.
Great.
Not like hands-on, we actually doing it. My hands are already a little dirty. But, so, we get a lot of customer service questions, and during, post, like, at the beginning of, during, and after the sale, we have all kinds of questions that are already asked, always asked to us.
Right.
And one reason we're doing this series of videos. You know, one of the things we get asked is, how do we extend the life of our trailer?
That is actually a great question. There's so many different variables that you have to consider, the weather. If you're storing your trailer in winter, the first thing you need to do is make sure it is in an enclosed warehouse or at least a breathable tarp. That way it has no condensation to help with any rust. You also need to make sure your bearings are properly lubricated and greased at all times. Most people don't realize this, but you need to wash your trailer. Only reason because let's say we take a trip to the Galveston area.
All the salt
and anything like that.
Same thing with the car, yes.
Exactly. You need to wash and take it for a drive, make sure everything's dried before putting up again. Whenever you store your trailer, there's a lot of people that ask this question about dry rot and how we look at it. Always try to put your trailer in a shaded area to keep from sun hitting it directly. That causes a lot of dry rot in tires. While storing, go ahead and turn your wheels a little bit because of all the pressure will deflate a trailer tire, and that causes dry rot also.
Now, can you, I know with some cars that you put in storage, can you jack it up or lift it up and kind of help with that a little bit with the tires? Because I know some people do that with their cars. Right.
Some people do. That is a good thing to do. Go ahead and try to do that. You don't want to kind of, put any pressure on any places you don't want to bend the frame or anything like that.
Absolutely. So, well, my next one is, we're talking about storing it. How about when we take trips with it? What are some things that we can do to help stay safe or check maintenance items before we go for a trip or start hauling something?
Right. So you want to start from the front of the trailer and make your way towards the back of the trailer, and always have a checklist. So in the front, you need to check your coupler, your hitches, make sure everything's tightened and pretty good to go. Then you're going to start moving down, checking your lights and electrical. If you have the lights and electricals on the side of your trailer, make sure all the reflective tape is good to go.
Okay.
Then you're going to get to your tires. You need to check your lug nuts. Always check your bearings. No matter what, always check your bearings. Make sure everything's good. You don't want any kind of failures through there.
You mentioned the lug nuts. Now, is that just making sure they're seated properly or that you're not missing one? Or would you suggest checking the torque on them and that kind of stuff?
Yes, you need to check both. There are some times whenever if it's been over-torqued, you will see like a fracture line. You need to check to make sure nothing has been over-torqued or any fracture lines that will cause the lug nut to pop off, failure, and then, you lose a tire, you lose a hub, you so forth. Go towards the back of your trailer. Well, we're still in the middle of the trailer. Let's go ahead and check underneath and check your springs. Make sure everything's correctly put in there. Everything looks like your springs are not flattened by overweight or capacity.
No corrosion,
rust,
that kind of thing.
No. And then go towards the back of your trailer. Look at your lights and electrical. If you have someone with you that can turn on.
Hey, pump the brakes.
Pump the brakes, exactly. Your blinkers and everything. Also make sure there's no wiring damage. I know whenever we store our trailers, there's a lot of, critters? Critters.
The coon's got my tail on.
I know, that will get up in there and nibble a little bit. A dog, a mouse, you name it, they'll get up there and they'll start gnawing away. I would like to say that the ants is a problem. Make sure you at least move away from any ants because they do like electrical stuff. Fire ants,
start chewing on them and that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So what are some resources? Do we have anything to help with this process or anything like that?
A checklist? Mm-hmm. Yes, we can provide a checklist for you. You just call me up. I will help you out, go through there, making sure everything's correct. The best thing you can do besides getting a checklist is keep a binder or anything that you can keep wrote on with every little detail on your trailer.
So like a maintenance log.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll actually have a checklist that we'll post in the description of this video that you can find and download. We'll have all of our contact information, so if you do have questions on how to check something, or I don't know what to do with this part of it, by all means give us a call. We're here to help. And that kind of pulls me into another question, which is, just like our cars, our trucks, are there certain objects, tools, parts that we should keep with us at all times if we're hauling?
Yes.
That sounds like a loaded answer. Let's get into this.
Okay, so I've had a customer call me and just bought new tires and everything, got down the road. Torque wasn't right because he didn't look at his lug nuts, anything that he needed to do on his checklist, he did not do. Was going down the interstate, tire goes off, hub goes off. Flying down the road.
That's a disaster.
That's a disaster, that is. Calls me up and asking if I have any hubs and bearings. Worst case scenario, you call me up. Oops, we're out of stock, So please, at all times, try to keep any extra spare lug nuts you can, bearings, and hubs. If you have a spare tire, that's great. I try to always sell a kit with a little bit of extra in it. I know a lot of people don't want it. I don't need that at that time. Had a customer call me back. Hey, I backed into something. I need a new tail light. Well, if you would have just had that extra tail light handy with you, you wouldn't be having to call me and having to ship out to you and waiting days,
So mainly the same things like you keep in your car, lug nuts, your jack, the torque wrench to be able to put this stuff on.
Yes.
There's everyday things that you should keep with you for your trailer as
Correct.
well. So if y'all have questions on this, by all means give us a call and we can set you up with a little kit that says, hey, this is the emergency kit in case something goes wrong. Or you're a customer at Nichole's and have to call her 5 minutes afterwards. So we've covered a little bit of how to extend your maintenance or extend the life of the trailer, how to store it properly, what to look for, what not to look for when you do your pre-trip. And most commercial drivers already do that.
Correct.
So
Yes.
it's the everyday guys that don't have the CDL, that aren't required to, that usually don't check these things. But how often should we take a deep dive and go through head to toe every inch from spring to spring, front to back on our trailers and actually check things?
Well, that's kind of one of them questions that I always tell my customers, every 5,000 miles. If you're not one of those people who are constantly out there, at least do it every 5,000 miles. But that's mainly for your bearings, really, truthfully, getting deep in there and greasing them. But your lights, lug nuts, and everything, that's something that you need to do every day before you take that trailer out. Because it's not just for our safety, it's for your safety and everyone else on the road.
Yeah. So I know some people say like once a year go through, or once every 6 months, and check all the oil, the grease, drop the tire off, make sure everything on the hub's fine, check your brakes. And most people can tell if the brakes aren't working, driving by. But, just doing that, like your 75,000 mile checkup on your car, or,
Right.
That kind of thing. And I know there's a lot of differing opinions with that. So like on a time base, like let's say I don't haul that often. I put my gator in the back or a four-wheeler and take it to the camper every couple months.
Right.
What do you say about once a year, twice a year to actually go through head to toe? And
I would try it at least try to do it every once a month. Like you said, you don't know what's gotten in there. If after being set in there, you don't know exactly if there's something gotten in there, chewed anything up, or if your brakes have gotten stalled and you have a planned trip coming up, you don't want to have to wait for these parts to come in. So once a month, at least go through there and check every little detailed thing.
Well, Nichole, I thank you for your time. Hopefully you've kind of enjoyed this, and I know I did, and hopefully our viewers did as well. So we'll see you on the next one, and I want to thank you for the time you took today.
Oh, anytime.
All right, we'll see y'all in the next one. Hey guys, if this helped y'all out, if it answered any questions, let us know in the comments below. Also, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them, and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.